been wondering about improvising lately. Like, at least improvising in terms of playing something that resembles a solo. I've just been thinking about it lately. It's my instinct to solo, to take guitar solos, although I kind of buried that instinct in a way when I committed myself to the group improvisation idea that I worked thoroughly for decades. In a way, I sort of sacrificed the guitar solo for the group, for the idea of group improvisation. Not completely, like especially on the records, because I do gravitate towards soloing, and when solos did happen, or things that sounded like solos happened, if they sounded good, I would usually try to fit them in on record, so I could kind of, show off and let that part of myself be perceived. But really, I mean, just in terms of the live stuff, I remember once we played somewhere, and this friend of mine came up with his girlfriend to talk to me after the set, and she said something like, she said something to the effect of, yeah, it was really interesting hearing something so understated. And, this is after we'd just blown our brains out at peak volume in this little club. You know what I mean? Everybody was deaf in there after the show, after some intense set of group improv. And I was kind of like, wow, I've never heard, nobody's ever called me, nobody's ever said that to me before, or used that word to describe what they heard when I played. And my friend said, I think what she's saying is that there weren't really any solos, And she was used to hearing solos, like here comes the guitar solo, and there's the bass solo, and then the drum solo. But despite the fact that I've made tons of music where that's, been kind of how we structure it, still, like around here in this little room, I spend a lot of time playing solos. You've heard me do it over loops endlessly and stuff in here. And lately, probably just because I haven't been playing, performing, I'm just wondering about the place of that. I've always recognized that as a writer, as a band leader, my time is best spent writing, and it's best spent bringing context to groups. That's kind of my job, really. Somebody has to do it, and I can do it, so I feel that it's sort of my responsibility to do it. And in that way, when the hours and days and months and years that I've spent practicing, taking guitar solos, with or without loops, whatever, the endless years with the metronome soloing and trying to get more groove in the solo and the time of the solo and all the work that I've done to try to improve that part of myself, to try to bring it up so it at least kind of hints at some of the levels that are being accessed by the great players around us. Lately, as I say, perhaps because I've just been isolated, just writing for like a year now, I'm wondering, like, if there's even a place for it. Like, there's certainly no shortage of guitar solos in the world, right? And I guess what I'm saying is the amount of time that I've spent working on that exceeds the amount of time in my life that I've spent writing. And I just wonder about the wisdom of that, So what does that mean? That means maybe there's a space for me to contribute something, or the more open space for me to contribute something to the greater picture is through the writing. And I've just been kind of, because I think I can write cool songs for instrumental music. I'm no poet, I can't write lyrics, that's been established, but you know what I mean? So it's just like, what am I spending my time doing here? The problem is, I really enjoy it. I love just blowing over stuff. It's really fun. But, you know, there's only so much time, in a life, right? And I've already spent decades trying to improve that part of myself. So anyway, that's just what's been on my mind.